Greetings everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Captain Rye, and today's YouTube video has got me doing something a little bit different. Yes, that's right. I'm here in Warthunder with a replay of what is honestly probably my best ground forces battle in arcade mode than I've ever had. I've played Warthunder in the past quite a bit, and I really got into the game for the planes, because World of Warplanes just couldn't compete. But I find that I actually really like the ground forces battle, and I tend to do just a little bit better in them than I do in World of Tanks. Plus, the models, the maps, and everything just looks so much better. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that I'm any good at the game. In fact, I suck quite a bit, as we're going to see right off the bat here in the M22, as I try desperately to finish off this annoying armored car and pretty much get my crew and tank knocked out in the first minute and a half of the battle. Yep, that happened. But that's the M22. It's a teeny little light scout tank. It can't take a hit for anything. But I like it at the beginning of battles like this because it's fast. It allows me to get up to the enemies as quickly as possible. And as we can see here, when I switch over to the M4A1, or just the M4, the tank's a little bit slower. It takes a little bit more time. Now that my first YOLO rush is out of the way, and I'm actually in a tank that I tend to do a little bit better in, let's talk about ground forces as a game and compare it to some other tank games. Well, first off, I think it's important to note that ground forces, even in arcade mode, tends to have different penetration mechanics than something like World of Tanks. Yes, there are ricochets in the game, and you certainly can bounce your shots. However, the hit points are definitely different. You're not just picking on a tank until it has 0 hit points. You're specifically shooting it until there's nothing left of value to shoot at. For instance, you're trying to knock out the entirety of the crew. You're trying to set it on fire, destroy its ammunition. You have all of these different things that you have to knock out before the tank is considered killed. So you can sit there and pick on a tank that should have been definitely dead a long time ago. Now as I push up here into the C cap point, I get hit from behind, and I'm actually pretty sure that that shot was from a friendly tank, but given that there's no shot indicator and you aren't always shot at by something you can see, I honestly don't know. So unfortunately, I'm stuck here while I wait for my teammates to push up. Now my team has managed to pull together here in this battle, and yes, it's arcade battle, which is incredibly surprising that it's able to do that. And we are in the process of capping the C cap point, as well as holding the B cap point. So the enemy team is very quickly going to find themselves on the losing side of this game. And of course, because Warthunder has respawns, that means you basically have to kill every single member of the enemy team 3 or 4 times over in order to win a battle. And even then, if the enemy team manages to capture all the points, you start losing tickets a lot faster. Kind of like a combination of Battlefield and World of Tanks. I get myself a crew replenishment. I only had 1 crew member to replenish, so I get that taken care of, and I start heading towards the B cap point. Now, I only recently learned how to use the machine guns on the tanks, and I'm actually finding that that's working out really well for me, especially against lighter vehicles, where before my armor piercing would pretty much just over-penetrate. Taking the back roads here, trying to stay behind cover, mostly because I'm not full health. I am missing some crew, and that gives me an opportunity to use my artillery strike to drop some hot lead on some people down range. Now I use the machine gun here on the lower tier battles especially because the armor's not that thick and I can usually cause some track damage by doing that. Occasionally, I can also knock out things like engines or fuel tanks if it's a light enough armored vehicle with that 50 caliber. Get my vehicle turned around here, pointed towards the enemy, front towards enemy. It is the strongest armor, but it's a Sherman. The M4 does not have basically any armor in my opinion. I think I've watched this tank get knocked out more ways than I care to imagine to. Thank you, kill cam. That doesn't mean, however, that you don't want to keep your front pointed towards the enemy, because at the very least there's a possibility that the shot might only knock out a crew member and not knock out or light you on fire. Now, looking at the situation, my team holds all 3 cap points. It's really a question of where do I want to go in order to get more kills and more damage. Well, here's a couple of enemy vehicles up here, but you'll notice that there is an enemy vehicle. It's a little bit further up there as I move forward here, and I'm closing in on this guy in an effort to try and take him out. Managed to hit him, but don't actually secure the kill, and of course the tank destroyer that was behind him finishes me off. That's a little unfortunate there, and that would have been an excellent use of the machine gun because he's got that light armor plate up front on that tank destroyer. Now I'm going into the M4A1, and I actually don't like the way this tank looks compared to the other one because it is a little bit more rounded hull. It's, I think, the older variant of the tank. Of course, I am still using the Tier 2 Shermans, which means 75mm guns, shittiest armor, shittiest engines, but at the very least, I have dedicated some time in the past to getting the crews trained. So I can actually drift this tank, and it's actually funny to watch me do that in one of these armored vehicles, just, you know, drift around there. That's one of the factors of Warthunder that I actually like over World of Tanks. Of course, now that World of Tanks has introduced ground physics, that's changed a little bit, but Warthunder still does it better. The ability to come around a corner at high speed and effectively drift a 35, 45, or 55-ton armored vehicle is absolutely hilarious. Looking at the situation, the enemy is pushing up and capping the C location. They're very low on tickets, but I've seen games that have managed to flip 100% as the enemy team manages to take out every single tank on my team, resulting in their ability to, without contest, take all of the remaining caps because there's only one tank left on the team who doesn't know what he's doing. Now as I push up towards the C cap point, which the enemy is capped, I spot an enemy armored vehicle here, and I take a shot at him and I miss him, but I open up with the machine guns here, and you can see I'm causing problems to his tracks as I manage to take him out with a shell and pretty much just ruin his day right there. You know, pro tip, if you're in a light armored vehicle, unless you're looking to YOLO like I was at the beginning of the battle, probably not the best idea to go at it alone. Now I push up here from behind rather than going up and around, and this is going to give me an advantage because the enemy armored vehicle sitting in the cap is pointed the other direction. I go for a ram here, but you know, it's not armored warfare, it's not World of Tanks. Ramming doesn't actually do that much in the way of damage to you, although it might disable their tracks, but it's also important to note that it'll disable your tracks. Managed to hit that Sherman, cause some serious problems for him. Hit him again. Don't actually secure the kill on that vehicle. A little disappointed by that. But now, my team, again, in the process of capping the C cap point. And this, I think, is the third base that I will have helped capture. So that's going to be excellent for me as far as score and credits go. Especially if you're able to do it in multiple bases in the same vehicle, you tend to get the base capture, like double and triple streak awards. And with Warthunder, if you haven't played it in a long time, or you just really never got into it, or into the ground forces side of it, getting those double and triple streak items really does stack up the amount of XP and credits you earn in the game. Especially if you're playing in the air battles. If you're playing in a bomber and you drop a bomb on, say, one building, congratulations, you've destroyed one target. But if you drop it on a line of vehicles and you manage to get like 9 kills in a row, congratulations, you just earned a whole hell of a lot of credits for one bombing run. At this point, the enemy team does not have a lot of players left in the game. They have effectively 2 that are still able to spawn in. One who is down behind that building, and I've just decided to drop some artillery on, and one who is going to spawn here at the base. And this is probably one of the biggest downsides to Warthunder, is the fact that you can respawn, and the fact that the enemy can basically come and invade your base and just show up there and cause you problems. Managed to hit this vehicle as he pulls out there, but don't manage to secure the kill because I fired my shot before he was vulnerable to that fire. But there you see the machine gun did some serious damage to his fuel tanks because he was such a light armored vehicle. At this point, there's not many enemy vehicles left, and my artillery strike combined with the help of that aircraft take out the last tank on the enemy team. So there's now nobody left for my team to attack, none at all. And that's a victory for my team. I'll point out here that because of how well I did in the game, I'm top of the team for XP, kills, and credits earned. Anyway, I thought I'd share something a little bit different with you today. And I honestly think that I might start getting into and doing a little bit more Warthunder related content. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me in the channel, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a World of Warships replay that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships, Warthunder, and other games live, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.